Well, we've officially seen the most scripted thing to ever be on 90 Day Fiance. Guys, you will not believe it, but guess who is moving in with Jenny and Sumit? Oh yes, Sumit's mom and dad. Oh yeah, the same mom and dad that absolutely hated Jenny. So this is the deal, most unbelievably crazy or just flat out scripted thing I have ever seen on 90 Day Fiance. But in the last episode of 90 Day Fiance that we got to see last night, Jenny and Sumit ended up going to a family counselor with Sumit's mom and dad, and shockingly it wasn't that crazy, it wasn't very explosive. However, we got to hear from Sumit's mom and dad on truly, genuinely why they just don't want Jenny and Sumit to get married. And to be honest with you guys, I hate to kind of sound like a jerk, but I kind of understand and agree where they're coming from. Like, yes, they are very annoying and very rude to Jenny, but they were just like, hey, a 30-year age gap really isn't that cool. It's just kind of disgusting. Jenny's like the mom's age. Like, it is very truly weird. If they are in love, then hey, you know what? Jenny and Sumit, they should be in love. They're both adults. They can make their own decisions. But the thing I am going to say is it is kind of odd. So we got to finally hear from Sumit's mom and dad on just really deep down why they're so uncomfortable and why they aren't happy. And a lot of it goes back to the culture and, you know, who's going to take care of Sumit when he's older. And then when he gets older, if Jenny passes on, then he can't really remarry because he's going to be so much older and they want to have grandkids. So they are kind of legitimate concerns, I will say. But the icing on the cake was at the end of the family counselor session, the mom basically just said, you know, if he really wants to marry her, so be it, but we have to really see that Jenny can be a true Indian housewife. And so she goes, I want to move in with them for some time and kind of train her and teach her, and then if she can really do what I want her to do, then she can, I guess, marry Sumit. So it's very odd, very strange, and to me seems completely fake, because how can you go from just completely hating someone like how Sumit's mom hates Jenny to now all of a sudden you're like wanting to move in with her? Now obviously Jenny thinks that there's some kind of a weird hidden, you know, okay, what does the mom want to do? Move in and torture me and then she'll just move out and whatever kind of thing. But I don't know what to believe. So Sumit was kind of just like, okay, you guys can move in for a couple of months, not days, not even weeks, but months. Like, what are they going to do for a couple of months? That's unbelievable. I could see like, you know, a week, maybe two weeks maybe kind of thing, but like a couple of months, what does that even mean? 3 months? Really? You're gonna spend a quarter of a year living with Jenny and Sumit. So it just seems kind of fake, kind of scripted. We got to see in a preview that it looks like Sumit's mom just goes off on Jenny and she's trying to make her cook and do this and she's really mean and she's ornery, and so, you know, it's just ridiculous. I don't know who and where or why, so there'd be a good idea for these people to move in with Jenny. It really makes absolutely no sense. So y'all, I don't know what to believe. It seems completely fake to me. That is just me. So yes, Jenny and Sumit, they're going to be having new visitors for a couple of months, and that will be Sumit's mom and dad. And apparently it sounds like it does end up going well, because Jenny did post yesterday on Facebook that I guess it has a really happy ending, which I can only assume is that Jenny and Sumit get married. But we are going to have to wait and see what actually happens. Pretty crazy, pretty ridiculous. It just seems so fake and so scripted. Why would his mom ever want to move in with them? To me, seems fake. But comment below what you guys think. And that was not all, because we also got to see probably one of the worst human beings to ever be on 90 Day Fiance, and that would be Steven and Elena. And I am not talking about Elena. That's all I'm going to say. Steven. I am not a fan of this guy. And by episode, he gets worse and worse and worse. So on the last episode, we got to see Steven, you know, confess and come clean to Elena that he actually hasn't been saving himself for marriage, and he's done, you know, stuff with other people. And it's kind of a weird topic though, because it's like, did he ever actually truly tell her, I'm waiting for marriage? He was definitely telling her that, you know, in his religion, this is one of the kind of things that people do. They, you know, wait for marriage. But it's also like, he didn't really say he did it, I don't believe. So I think he just kept implying that he was, and he was, and he was, but he clearly never did. And so it's like, I'm kind of sitting here wondering, well, did he actually ever truly come and tell her, I am waiting? Kind of a weird, kind of a gray area thing. But either way, Elena was totally just had the impression that he was. And I think he even kind of admitted that he basically made the impression that he was. So he told her, and she was completely just emotional and shocked and angry and felt hurt, and she just felt horrible. And so he, you know, and he ended up kind of like tallying off the numbers of this and that and all the people that he's, done stuff with and whatnot, and it was not looking pretty, and Elena was extremely upset, extremely mad. And then Elena did ask him, when was the last time you were actually with someone? And then Steven said it was actually in like last October when her and Steven were already talking. However, they weren't really exclusive at that point. So it's kind of, once again, just like a weird gray area. Either way you slice it or dice it, it makes Steven not look good. And he admitted, he goes, if I could go back, I'd take it all back and not do any of it, but I did. And he kind of said he regretted it, but still it's like, to me, the part that sucks is if you knew it was going to be a big part to Elena, why didn't you just tell her before you guys moved to Turkey? Why do you have to wait for it to be in person? Like, why? So for me, that's my part where I'm just like, that's just kind of a crummy kind of a thing. It's like Sumit being married when he had Jenny. It's like, well, if Sumit really cared about Jenny, in my eyes, he would have told Jenny, hey, Jenny, before you come to India, FYI, I am married. Even though the marriage was like a setup kind of a thing, still, she deserves to know, and you should not have waited until she came to India. It's the same thing with Steven and Elena. If this was such a big thing to Elena, you should have told her while she was still in Russia. And I know it's like at that point, she probably wouldn't have wanted to go on to Turkey, but still, she deserved to know. So it's like he waited till she came to Turkey. He then told her. She was super upset. And to make matters worse, her mother is actually coming to Turkey to visit the next day. So she ended up coming. It was very awkward, very weird. The only saving grace is that Steven can speak pretty good Russian. So that kind of helped. But, Elena did tell her mom that, hey, Steven's been hiding things. He hasn't been telling the full truth. And the mom, it just seems to be super cut and dry. So mom's basically just like, if he's going to be hiding things from you, just end it. Move on, end it, come back to Russia. And I think the mom definitely wants her to go back to Russia for her own, probably not selfish, but just kind of selfish because it's her daughter. She wants to be around her daughter. It's not selfish, but for her own reasons, she wants her daughter to be in Russia. And so I think that's probably kind of influencing it too. But you can just see, she admitted it. Steven's very odd. And if he's going to be kind of childish, not take this very serious, that they really shouldn't be together. And I could not agree anymore whatsoever with the mom. She should not be with him. Now, there is a potential spoiler, which I will do a video on later with Steven and Elena. So keep an eye out for that little spoiler, but I'm not going to say it in this video, so don't worry. But either way, it's like Steven and Elena. I am just so upset with this guy. I'm not a fan of him. And that was pretty much it. It does sound like Elena ends up telling her mom exactly what Steven was hiding, and then it gets very awkward, very weird. So, yeah, I think the Steven guy, I think deep down he does probably kind of mean well, but he's very odd. He has very just bizarre, weird kind of ways of going about things. He kind of comes off rude, and I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he just does things in a really rude, weird way, and he doesn't think straight, and it's like he just comes off really rude. So he kind of comes off inconsiderate. Just, I'm not a fan of him. I really do feel bad for Elena. I think Elena is just like the nicest girl ever in the whole world, and it's like, why is he... What is he? It's like, why is she so into? That's the thing I don't understand. Why is she so into him? It just doesn't make any sense. And then we got to see Corey and Evelyn. Now, typically with Corey and Evelyn, I usually kind of skip over them. But in this last episode, a lot of stuff happened. And supposedly there's going to be more stuff coming out. So basically, to make a long story short, Corey and Evelyn ended up getting married like in 2019 because Corey's visa was going to expire. They were in a pretty good spot in their relationship. And they just wanted to keep Corey in Ecuador. That was really it. So they ended up getting legally married. Corey and Evelyn both did not tell a single soul. No one knew. And that was it. Now they're trying to plan this wedding and they're going to be getting married. Anyway, sometime during their marriage, their secret marriage or whatever, they hit a rough patch. They basically broke up. They were still legally married, but Evelyn did tell Corey, go off, date whoever you want, do your own thing, and that's what Corey did. So he met this other woman named Jenny. He had a real relationship with her, and he ended up dating her for quite some time. So he ended up somehow finagling his way going back to Evelyn, and he did tell Evelyn about Jenny, but he didn't get into the whole extent of how serious their relationship was. So long story short, what ended up happening was Corey went back to Evelyn and said, hey, me and Jenny were way more serious than I let off, and he ended up going back to Jenny and really officially 100% just cutting ties there and ending it with her, and that was fine. It wasn't a big deal at all. And that was basically it. Now, the issue was with Evelyn was that Corey was kind of acting like it was just a casual thing. It wasn't very serious. But the truth was it was very, 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 very serious with him and Jenny. And so Evelyn just kind of was like, well, you lied to me. You didn't tell me the truth. If you would have told me from the beginning, it would have been different. But you lied to me. You didn't tell me exactly what was going on. And for that reason, I'm super upset. So she was like furiously mad with him. She ended her relationship with him. She was done with him. She was like, I don't want anything to do with you. It's over. Move on. And that was pretty much it. So I don't really know what's going to happen with these two, to be honest. I kind of think that they might actually end up breaking up. It sounds like Evelyn is like, set in stone. Oh, we're going to get a divorce. This is over. I feel horrible. But she's like, she hates him now. She told him, get a flight. Go home. Don't stay here. And she might cool off at some point, but I don't blame her. Once a liar, always a liar. Corey has lied before. And if he lied again, he'll probably do it again. So I think she's kind of just like, the whole fool me once kind of thing. And it's like she's over with it. So I don't know if I guess I kind of feel bad for Evelyn because he didn't really cheat because she did tell him to go date Jenny, but it is kind of like he did hold it back and kind of lie about some of the details. So it's kind of weird. Once again, kind of a gray area, not really good. Definitely, for the very least, I can tell you guys one thing. At the very least, they are definitely not in love. So should they be married? Probably not. But put in the comments below what you guys think of Corey and Evelyn, if they should stay together or just get a divorce, what you guys think. Definitely put in the comments below. And then we got to see Kenny and Armando. And finally, once in 90 Day Fiance's, time on being on TV, there was finally some positive news. Typically on 90 Day Fiance, it's all negative, negative, negative. But with Kenny and Armando, it was actually pretty positive. So they went to this marriage place to go get their license so they can get married. They went like a year ago. We saw it on the show. It got denied. They had to get some more paperwork. They ended up getting the paperwork, and they went back this time, and kind of hilariously enough, the guy just said, hey, you don't need the paperwork anymore. In Mexico, they've approved, everyone can get married now, so it's not a big deal at all. You can get married. This is going to be great for you guys, and that was basically it. So it was positive news for Kenny and Armando. It already came out. They do, in fact, get married. They are married now, and their marriage isn't going to be a big deal now because they can get married in Mexico now. So not a big deal. Very positive. They were very happy. Now the big drama and kind of cryptic thing with Kenny and Armando is going to be, well, will Armando's dad come to the wedding? And I'm kind of torn on that one. I don't really know. Put in the comments below what you guys think. We didn't hear anything in the last episode from Armando's mom or dad, so I don't really know. I'm kind of torn on what I think of Armando's dad. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's trying to get comfortable with his whole situation, but I don't know if I see him going to the wedding. Maybe he might show up at the last second, kind of sit in the back kind of a thing, which, it kind of sucks. But I do think he will come. I just don't think he's going to be very involved or, which is really honestly sad. So I wish those two well. They're going to be able to get married, which is great. I hope the wedding goes well. And I really do like those guys. I think Kenny can be a little bit kind of pompous at times, but I do think he's a very nice guy, and I do think he's just kind of hilariously dramatic. He owns up to his drama, and I think he's actually kind of funny. So Kenny and Armando, nothing but good news for them. And then we got to see Ari and Biniyam, and it was just sad. Like, Ari's packing up. She goes back to New York. She's leaving Biniyam, so, their son can get this procedure in the United States. It was really sad. And if you don't know, it's sad because Biniyam basically went through this exact same situation with his ex and his first son. So it's like super sad. He's legitimately sad. I know we don't always love Biniyam, but I think Biniyam has a good heart. He is a nice guy, and he's super, super, super sad about Ari leaving and not coming back. And Ari was actually being kind of like cute and nice and sweet, and she was really trying to comfort him and just do anything. She got him a ring, and she told him that, she's leaving her clothes here and this and that and all this kind of stuff. And the odd thing I will say is she's only supposed to go for 1 month, and I heard a rumor that she never even came back, which is kind of hilarious. So the rumor I heard, it's not hilarious, but it's kind of ironic because, Ari's been saying, I'm coming back, I'm coming back, I'm coming back, but it's like the rumor I've heard is that she goes to America and stays there, and then she ends up getting Biniyam somehow. I have no idea how, if her mom find some weird visa or if they just get a good lawyer. I have no idea what they do, but somehow it sounds like Biniyam actually comes to America for quite a while, and I think he's still in America right now. So I don't know how he gets there, but hilariously enough, they're crying that, they don't want Ari to, stay in America. And it sounds like that's actually what she kind of ends up doing. So it's just kind of funny. It's not funny, but it's kind of stupid, but it's also kind of just like hilariously ironic. And last but certainly not least would be Ellie and Victor. And sadly, however, you guys, we did not get to see them. They were not on the last episode at all. Boo-hoo. And that kind of tells me one thing, you guys. I have no idea because here is the deal. There was a spoiler. Here, guys, spoiler alert. We are at the end of the video. So if you don't want to know what I'm going to say with Ellie and Victor, we have a little bit of spoiler. If you don't want to know, just don't keep watching. But we have a spoiler with them, and the spoiler is this, that Ellie was spotted at her restaurant in Seattle working. So she's not in, Providencia anymore, and she's back here. Is she dating Victor or not? She could be. She could have just came back to America, but me and my gut, it's telling me no. And because we're not seeing a lot of Ellie and Victor, and they're kind of just, they're in the same spot, there's not much going on. What I believe is going to happen is they don't have a lot of footage of them, maybe, and what probably likely happened is Ellie went over there, and, you know, the whole island is just completely destroyed. That freaked her out. And then we got to see in a preview for the next episode that she wants to have a conversation about the cheating and his infidelity, and you could just see he was not having it at all. And keep in mind, and this is the guy that said that he, you know, that he got tricked and all this stuff into cheating and all this kind of crap. That's a load of crap. So I just think he's just going to get really mad, and they're probably going to break up right then and there. She'll go back to Seattle, and that'll probably be the end of it. I could be wrong, but typically when they don't show a lot of the couples, like, well, they probably don't have a lot of footage of them, and that probably means that they're actually going to break up, you know, pretty soon. So Ellie and Victor, I can't say just yet for sure, but it's not looking very good for them, at least in my eyes. Well, 90 Day Fiance, guys, put in the comments below what you guys think. I think it was actually a pretty good episode, pretty hilarious, and might have been a little bit fake with Jenny and Sumit and his parents. But either way, guys, if you are new to this channel, please hit that like, follow, share button. And y'all, thank you so much for watching, and please stay tuned for many more videos.